Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes podcast. I'm Bert Lepore. He's Sammy Monte Carlo. We're hanging here with Angry Mike D, and we talk about music, movies, and so much more. I'm the monster in a bedtime story. I'm the bullet in a loaded gun. Please God, save me from this run. I'm the devil in your darkest secrets. I'm the child of the fallen sun. Please God, save me from this run. Dear God, help me face it.
All right, we're back with another episode of Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes, episode 82, I think, right?
Yeah, let's get up there.
Oh, we're back to putting the numbers on there. Wow.
Yeah, every once in a while.
We got to do this to 100 now.
Yeah.
Well, I think we figured out that 100 will bring us to like September, which is almost 2 years. So
yeah,
makes sense. Today our guest is Mickey Rat from the band As We Become Ghost, and I had no idea you're a tattoo artist.
Oh yeah,
I saw some of your pictures on Facebook and stuff, but I never really put it together until Bert mentioned it to me like a month or two ago.
Yeah,
coming up on 20 years.
Wow,
in
nice.
the same area. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
You know what? Let's start off with the tattoo stuff since you broke the ice with that. So
sure.
we got Mickey Rat, as we all know him know him forever pretty much. Mick, I didn't know until a couple years ago that you did tattoos, and I seen some of your work, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, the cover-ups are ridiculously good.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to do, man. It's a very strategic, well thought out planned thing. You have to figure out
the placement and everything, and
because you can see where the shit will bleed through, whatever. I mean, it's crazy. It's amazing.
I think the most important part of that is the third criteria, which is making it look like the original tattoo that's supposed to be there, and not like something that just kind of like people know that something's under there, because it looks awkward. It has to be very, very tasteful, and it has to be very, very strategically thought out.
It's almost like like hide and seek.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to see the other tattoo, popping out.
You figure out what works, through the years,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure you have it down to like almost like a science, like
but the good thing with science is like, I'm always investigating more and more and more and always learning, so I learn something new every day, no matter how long I've been in this business. You got to keep learning, you got to keep moving, like I can learn something off an apprentice or somebody who's been around our shop for 6 months. Right. And they could do something. I'm like, what are you doing over there? And and I could take something from what what they're doing and learn something from that. So
same thing with music. Same way with music.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Anything creative. You could always, like I always say this on the show all the time. I'm not a rap guy. I'm not a dance guy, but man, I can listen and go, shit. I could come up with a melody that twist that around a little bit.
I do that.
I don't know, Bert. I've seen you dancing lately, so I'm starting to think different on that one.
We will wobble, they don't fall down. The round mound of sound is going to start dancing.
I'll listen to like metric radio or something, and like on Pandora, I'll type in like metric, and I'll listen to some of that stuff. And same thing. It's a little techno-y, but it's in drum and bass, but it's extremely melodic. And like, and I start like writing lyrics to the stuff and like going, you know what, I could write a song to this and then just take that part, their whole song out of it. And you wouldn't even know that I came up with a song from that.
Based on that.
Yo, Mick, I do that shit all the time also.
Yeah.
I'll listen to something and be like, okay, even if it's a known band, I'll listen to the intro and be like, wow, they didn't sing nothing over that. Let me see what I could do that. Then I'll take that idea and then throw it in something new,
Yeah, you can write something around it. Yeah, something completely new.
And and of course you know how to write hooks. So when you know how to write hooks, because some guys don't, you know what I mean? Some guys are unhook guys. When you know how to write a hook, you hear a fucking hook and everything. And like if you sing harmonies, you could be listening to a Danzig record in your head, you're hearing the fucking harmony above, whatever below, the octave below. That's how our brain works as writers,
Yeah. That happens to me a lot when I listen to like, when Green Day comes on the radio. His voice is in a certain register that like you can sing harmonies to them through the whole song, not just in the hook, not just in the chorus, but it's like this kind of weird register that like you can just hit all sorts of different kind of harmonies to it, you know? Well, I mean, if you're a good singer, I can't hit all those harmonies, but
but you hear it.
You could hear it. Yeah. I pretty much listen to music no matter what it is that way. I always the harmony is the first thing that I always hear. I just like to figure it out. You know, it's just,
dude, you hear shit that's not even there and you think it's there. You're like, wait, I think I hear something. It's not even there, but you hear it because that's what you've done, you know?
Yeah. And then like, you know, and then you can't unhear it as well.
You
know?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was in the studio, you know, a while back and we were cutting some tracks and we were working on the backing vocals for one of our songs called Overcome. And, the guys were in there and they were going, our love instead of our love, like our love. Right. Yeah. So our producer and engineer, Derek Chafin, said, no, like, listen, you need to really accent that our, right. And so as it got near the end of the song, there was a couple of them that weren't like exactly right. And he goes, it doesn't matter now, because once your brain hears it a couple of times, it'll hear it that way through the rest of the song.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that's something I never even thought of.
Right.
Dude,
so it was real interesting.
You know what fucks me up as a singer, and it's weird because the people that are good, like our friend Erica that sings, Erica Gagliardi, she can hear if there's a note change or something, dude, she's smooth. She can go right to it. My brain works that if we recorded it in fucking, I don't know, E or whatever the fuck, I hear E all the time. We could drop it to D flat, and I still hear the fucking same note. Well, D flat is right, but I hear in my head, I'll still sing it the same way I sang it without hearing the
muscle memory.
It's in my head.
I think that's muscle memory more than anything.
It's fucking fucks me up. Dude, when I was with Trip would be like, you know, let's move this in a different key than we recorded it because I don't want to take another guitar or something crazy like that. And I'm like, you're killing me. You know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just do it. You know,
true.
Yeah, man. But
that was some good stuff that you guys were putting out back then. With
there were some interesting things. Stuff. Yeah, there was some
fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Yep. So Mick, talking about the tattoo thing is so you've been doing it for like 20 years, you said?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that, man. Yeah,
I just
like years.
You know, sometimes it boggles my mind. I think like how many thousands of people have I tattooed?
And it's, you know, forever.
Like,
yeah.
I just wish that like I could have like kept track of that from the very beginning, you know. It would blow my mind how many people, like, I can go places, you know, and I mean, I've been 8.5 hours. I've been up in, you know, Massachusetts and run into somebody who's like, hey, is your name Mickey Rat? And my daughter hated that when she was young, you know, like we went up there. I'll tell a funny story if it's cool. We went up there. My daughter hated, like, locally, anywhere we went, you know, this is when she was like 14, 15, anywhere we went, you know, we'd be out somewhere and they're like, hey man, it's Mickey Rat, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, stop knowing people. And I'm like, okay, I'll just stop knowing people, right?
It happens.
So we go up to Plymouth, Massachusetts. My buddy, Roger Chenard, his uncle was the drummer for Billy Squier, Bobby Chenard.
Nice.
And, so I've been up there tattooing at his shop many times and all this stuff. Long story short, he's also a drummer and plays with bands. So he books a gig and gets Twisted Sister to come and play their 25th anniversary of the Stay Hungry album, right?
Oh, nice.
Full makeup, the original banner, the whole deal, start to finish album. And he's going to open up for them at this place called Memorial Hall in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Nice. So me and my daughter, I take her out of school. We go up there. She's wearing her cool lanyard and stuff. And like, you know, when there was a line out front, she's like, she has to go out to the van 15 times for like, she forgot her lipstick or whatever, you know, because she wants to keep walking by everybody with her cool lanyard. You know?
Right.
But anyways, earlier in the day, before the band even got, or when the band got there and there was still hours of setup, I said, why don't we go find a mall or something, kill some time, go buy you some of those like knee-high Chuck Taylors that you always wanted. She's like, yeah, dope. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So we're in this Journeys store in Plymouth, Massachusetts. The guy doesn't have her size. So she's filling out a piece of paper. That's how far back it was. It wasn't like, let's just punch this into the computer, fill this piece of paper out. Right. So she's writing on the counter. The guy standing across from me, he goes, hey man, is your name Mickey Rat? I swear to God, we're in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And she does one of these. If you can see me, she's just like, She's like, no, like, and inside, man, I'm being so cool on the outside, but on the inside, I am dying. I am dying. He's like, yeah, you tattooed a friend of mine at the Rhode Island Rock and the Ink show like 3 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I remember that. It was a bomb and a couple of roses. And he's like, yeah.
That's great.
So
wow.
I just imagine how many people that I've tattooed, you know, and most of my business is word of mouth, you know, like, I mean, I haven't made a business card in almost, 8 years.
Dude, that's a great
your business card is it's in people's skin.
You're right.
Know?
Yeah, exactly.
You walk around, that's pretty cool. Who where'd you get that done? Who did
and I'm
it?
blessed.
And then
I'm blessed that my phone keeps ringing. You know what I mean? So,
dude, that's
very humble.
To be able to draw in general is fucking insane. You know, because I don't know how to draw. You know, but to do it on somebody's fucking skin and get the shading right and get the technique right.
So
oh my
I'd be
god,
so nervous doing that.
It's
a lot of pressure.
It's a different animal. It's a different beast altogether, and everybody's skin is different. You have different skin tones and types, and there's just a lot you need to know about it. You know,
now, which would you say is, what do you like doing? Like, as far as tattoo goes, do you like portraits? Do you like to do the, because each guy's kind of specializes in their own thing.
Yeah, I like to do black and gray primarily. I do a lot of color. You know, lately, especially, a lot of people have been hitting me up for color, which I really, lean more towards, and I do very good color work, but I lean towards black and gray realism. So like that'd be like portraits, animal portraits, surrealism, like, like crazy realistic stuff, but in like dream states, and kind of mixed with that stuff, and darker edge kind of stuff. I'm really into, a little macabre.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a lot of people come to me for memorial stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, dude. Again, some of the pieces I see that you put up online, I can't believe. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I got to go to Mickey. How far are you, Nick, from Philadelphia, from South Philly?
Not far, man. I'm 15 minutes across the bridge. I'm in Summerdale on White Horse Bike.
I'm gonna have to hook something up, because I'm usually bad. It's why I haven't seen you, because I don't know where you're at. I'm like, if it's an hour away, I'm like, it's an hour away. I'm bad with that stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's probably 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm due. Yeah. I'm due. I'm definitely due to get one. So maybe I'll go visit Mickey, and I think I need a cover up on one of my arms. I think I want to get some fucking Japanese work on something. All right. Because you get a couple tattoos when you're in a rush, when you're young. You're like, I just want a tattoo.
You just want them.
I had hundreds of those, man, that I got. Not hundreds. I had a few of those that I have some some cover ups on and stuff like that. That $80 burning a hole in my pocket when I was 18.
Yeah, you can't help it.
Then you know how I started. You know how I started getting tattooed? I was 11 years old.
Oh shit.
11 years old, and my dad used to be the head medic at Graterford Prison, right? And I lived in Souderton, Pennsylvania at the time, right? And my dad, God rest his soul, he's gone, but he used to smuggle in like contraband and shit for the prisoners. Him and this other guard, a friend of his, right? And I'll leave his name out of it because he's still alive. But anyways, so sometimes these prisoners would get out and they would come like seek out my dad. You know what I mean? That was the first stop they would make, because they didn't know where to go on the outside. So this guy named Jim Day starts knocking at my door, and I open the door and he's like, "Hey, is Mike here?" And I'm like, "No, he's not." And he's like, "You got a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right." So I go to my dad's fridge. I give this guy a beer, and I'm looking at these shitty ass tattoos that he has on. I'm like, "Oh, it's prison ink." And I'm like, I'm an artist, and I was just like, just enamored by it. I was like, cool, like, let me check these things out. And I start talking about a tattoo. Next thing you know, we're sitting at my kitchen table. We're both drinking beers. He's got Indian ink and a needle that I get him, and he's like giving me my first tattoo at my kitchen table.
He's giving you the tattoo. Oh,
I'm 11 years old. We're drinking beers. Insane, man. Insane.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. And I got my first real legit one in a shop when I was 14. And I went from Souderton, skipped school, and I went up to Allentown, Pennsylvania, right? And there was this guy, Peter Eagle, Fine Line Tattooing, right? Real old salty dog biker guy, Nice. And I'm shitting my pants because I have this fake ID, right? So he's working on somebody at the moment. And the more I'm sitting in there getting nervous that he's finally going to it's going to be my turn. And he's going to be like, all right, let me see your ID. And then he's going to be like, get out of here, punk. You know what I mean? Like he's going to chase me out shit, right? So the other people leave. He's back there cleaning up his booth, and I get so nervous that I just blurted out as loud as I can. I'm like, do you want to see my ID? And this guy just pops his head like around the corner down the hall, and he's like, you got $60 cash? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, get in the fucking chair. You didn't want to see shit.
Right.
It was a different time, man.
Dude,
No,
it's like
funny.
I love when I go to a tattoo shop. Like if it's like, a lot of these new school artists that are different from the ones back in the day. And when I go sit in the shop, your shirt's off, and the first thing the tattoo guy goes, he's calling over the other tattoo guy. Goes, yo, look at this cool biker looking shit, because that's my first ones were, of course, that style. That's who did them.
Sure.
But I'm due for some ink. It's been probably like 2-3 years. I'm definitely due for some ink.
Well, I'm booking out for like August and September right now. That's
I gotta hook
good.
something up with you. I could definitely hook something up with you.
Do you find it being because I mean, man, I see people every day that you would never think. I mean, you see their face, and it's like, that person shouldn't have any tattoos. It's like, dude, it's like everybody has them.
It's so normal now.
It's
before it used to be like
it was bikers and rebels and
rockers, and that's pretty much.
I have one.
Yeah,
about it. Now it's like
now it's like soccer moms and lawyers
crazy.
and
So
like
weird.
nurses. Everybody's got like their little story. That all has to do with like Miami Ink and like all those shows that came out.
Yeah,
it became
sad
pop culture.
piano music.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to get this turtle tattoo?
Yeah.
Like here comes the sad piano music, and it's like, my pet turtle died. It was my emotional support turtle, and whatever.
Right.
Back in the day, they would have drew the turtle like a little dick hidden somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see where I put that hidden, the hidden flower with the
man.
penis.
Then when it fades out, you see the dick.
Old school guys are brutal, man.
Oh, great,
true.
dude! It's so different. It's just such a different mentality when an old timer does it. I love that shit though.
Just like in general. I remember when I was a kid, my dad had a good amount of them, and that was like he got his like in the 70s and early 80s, and it was very rare. I mean, it was like not everybody had them,
right.
But he had one that was like mom, or dad.
Well, it's funny. His first one he got when he was like maybe like 18 or 19. This is back in the early 70s. He got his name.
Yeah.
His name. He got his name on it, and then he got
that was very common back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. That was,
and then he got like a bunch of others over the years. He's got like a good amount now, but I mean now, dude, it's like everybody. It's like a rare thing if you don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
And
it's very accepted. Like we were in like a fancy
different
restaurant Sunday for Mother's Day, and like the waitress totally covered all like neck and everything. And
it's
like
normal now.
Yeah, it's like you don't even bat
it's
an eye.
It's too normal for me. I'm like, what the fuck? It makes it's just too regular.
Yeah,
but hey, if to each
I got a funny one.
What's that like?
I seen a good meme earlier today, and it was this circus director, and there was like a bearded lady, there was like a tattoo, the tattooed man, and like a couple of, and it was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to fire you all. You're just not freaks anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Exactly. Mike, what was you gonna say?
So when I was 18, I just wanted to get a tattoo and start So me and my buddy, we went up to what was it? It was off of South Street.
Like
I know the artist. I know the
Oh.
artist was a Bill Funk.
Oh yeah, Bill Funk.
That's actually that's
Body Graphics. He was
Body Graphics. That's it. Yes. So we went there.
Correct. And Bill Funk, and I'll let you get back to your story. Bill Funk is the son of Philadelphia Eddie.
Oh, then I
They
didn't
had
know.
They had a falling out, and he went and started Body Graphics, and they had like a bloody war with each other until the day that Eddie died. They never made up. They never reconciled their relationship. Yeah, it's crazy. But Bill Funk is a very talented guy, and he has a lot of very talented people working for him as well.
I didn't give him a very talented tattoo to do either. So I'll just show it. This is it right here. And guess what, man? This held up over the years. This held up nice.
Sure.
What's that from, like 94?
It's about that, right?
Well, I got this when I was 18, so it must have been like 94. Yeah, 94, 95.
See?
Yeah.
So,
God, I feel old, man. My 26-year-old daughter was being born then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, dude.
How old are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 53.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. You don't look it. Yeah.
No.
I don't normally feel it either.
Nah, that's good though.
I feel in my 50s sometimes. And I'm heading there.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes, like, I don't know what I did. I was like picking up a sock off the floor like 3 weeks ago, And like I got this like shoulder like thing, right? With like
it happens, yeah.
Like I pulled my scapula or something. So I've been back and forth to the doctor, and got all the tests and all this stuff. So it turns out I got like a herniated disc in my neck, and my shoulder joint has no fluid left in it. So it's just like bone on bone. And it's like for 3.5 weeks straight, man, it's been nothing. It feels like a throbbing, like my arm, my scapula, my neck, my clavicle. It feels like a throbbing toothache, man.
I
get something new each week.
That could have been Mick. That could have been years of really having a guitar on your shoulder or something like that. That shit happens, just from years.
That and everything I did for years, auto body, concrete work, roofing,
all that stuff. Yeah, you feel it later.
Yeah, or it could have been from years of picking up socks.
Right,
right.
Socks. I picked up a lot of socks, man. I'll tell you that,
dude. The best.
I am no stranger.
The funniest thing was when I got my first tattoo. So I got my first tattoo, and I got a decent one at the time. Lukey, who used to work at RC's, I think.
I know RC's. Yeah, sure.
So he gave me my first tattoo, and I was like, yeah, I got like a Grim Reaper on my arm, like if it's the right, it's the right one. So I got a Grim Reaper up here, and that was my first one. And I was asking him, because I don't know nothing. I'm a kid. I probably was like 18. I was like, yeah, could you put it here? He said, nah. He's like, we're going to put it on top. I'm like, yeah, you think that's a good spot? He's like, yeah, because you'll be back. I was like, you want to start from the top. You're going to be back. It'll be easier to work in, I'm like,
so good idea.
So back to my story
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's hear that.
So I walk in there and I kind of was looking through that. This was wall art. So
we call that flash.
Flash, yeah. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool, this one. So I'm in there and I just hear this in the back. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, guy's like, hold up, I need a break. Hold up. Guy comes walking out, goes outside, takes a cigarette. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, all right, I'm still going through with this. And this goes on for like another 40 minutes. I gotta take a piss. And this guy's like, and this guy must have been in his 40s at the time, at least.
Right.
So it turns out he was getting like 4 of his wife's name on his chest right here, 4 letters.
That's crazy.
So almost an hour later, I finally sit down, and he's like, have you gotten a tattoo before? I'm like, nope. He's like, all right. He's like, feel a little bit, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and I felt it, but I'm pretty good with the pain and everything like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, are you sure this is your first one? I'm like, yeah. He's like, man. He's like, let me tell you something. He's like, see that guy before you? He's like, that was the biggest pussy I ever tattooed.
Yeah,
dude. My cousin Nicky Mick got you might even know Nick if you see him. Nicky has a big Ace Frehley on his side. I mean, it's huge, and it's just the outline, a little shading, just the outline. Okay. And he didn't get it done yet. Finished it. I'm like, so Nick, when are you going to finish?
Because it hurts like shit.
I said, yeah. I said, Nick, when are you going to finish? And he said, fucking never.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so, and guys are different than girls. Girls got all the time they're like, oh, it ain't so bad. Every guy knows that it sucks. Yeah.
30% more pain tolerance than guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got my ribs done. That was the last one I got. That was maybe 7 years ago.
I didn't know you had that.
Right on.
Yeah, I got it right on my side, and it's a pretty nice size piece. And the girl with the tattoo artist, she was like, maybe 95 pounds soaking wet, and I'm in so much pain. She's over there fucking laughing at me. She was like totally tatted up and everything.
Yeah.
She was like, she was joking with me. Do you want me to put that the cream? I forget. Once you break
the numbing cream stuff.
Yeah. She said, yeah. You want me to put this on you? And she was like laughing, trying, like
that's funny.
Making me look, like a pussy, making a joke. And she's a friend of mine, so I was okay. But I was.
Did you use the numbing cream? Okay.
Yes, I put. Yeah, please put it on.
Is that real? I never used the numbing cream. Does that work?
It helps a little bit.
Look, no shame in that.
It was probably like anal-ease or something.
Yeah, anal-ease. Yeah.
Yo, that's really funny. All right, I got a story for you real quick about that. So there's no shame in that game. If you want to use it, you can use it. It's no big deal. I'm not one of those guys like, hey, plus you're gonna use it. I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah.
Get a tattoo, don't get a tattue. Use the cream, don't use the cream. Don't matter to me. You know what I mean?
It's probably easier for you if they're not squirming.
Yeah, your own process. Sometime though, if one of those numbing creams has epinephrine in it, it can really mess up the tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it changes the cell structure for a while and allows the numbness to last way longer. But So this guy comes into my shop and he's like, hey man, I got this cream, you know what I mean? And it was like a client that I kind of know, and like he's always been a little bit suspect to me anyway about some shit, right? So he hands me this, right? And like I use a little bit on it, whatever. And then like he's like, just keep that in the cabinet or whatever. And he's like, didn't work really well, but whatever. So later, like it was like 2 or 3 days later, I go to pull it out of the cabinet, and I was just like looking at, one of my guys in the back's like, hey man, you got any like numbing cream? And I'm like, I'm looking at this thing, I'm looking at the box, and it says for anal rectal use. And I'm like, wait a second, man. So like I'm thinking about this for a day or two, and I'm like, and so I text my dude, I'm like, you know the shit that you got, man? Like, where the fuck did you get that? What website were you on, man? Because this is for like anal rectal use, right? Like it's for your anus, right? And I'm like, thinking, all right, I don't know what fuck website you're on, right? So days later, one of my other artists came in, you know, and he goes, hey, I got these couple numbing creams if you need any, you know. And I said, let me see both of those. And I read both of them, and both of them on the back say, and they are literally for tattooing, you know, like Dr. Numb, you know, it's like it says tattoo right on there, but in the back thing it says for anal rectal use. And I figured out that
chemicals.
They have to say that in order to get their patent and all this other stuff.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Like it has to be like these certain uses or whatever. So
I thought maybe it might have been something with you know, there's companies out there that make a specific product, but it has, you know, multiple uses.
Right.
You know, maybe someone else comes along and say, hey, could you make that for me? I'm going to repackage it as
right. But I think FDA wise or something that it has to say that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that suspect dude's off the hook.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you what, Nick, now that you brought up that, because I actually manage an adult store. So
okay.
I had a girl come in last week. I think there like 2 or 3 girls came in. I think they were dancers, whatever, and they weren't from, I guess, the city. They were leaving somewhere. I don't know what the whole story was, but she said, do you sell analies? I said, yeah, I sell analies. No big deal. I get it. She's like, well, I got a girlfriend of mine that has a toothache. I didn't ask her anything more about that. I'm like, I guess you can use it for a toothache. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
sure she does. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
sure.
She said, well, we have this spray that numbs your mouth. You know what
I mean? There's probably the pharmacy, like, you know, 2 blocks away you could go to get some word gel.
You know, maybe it works
some Oragel, some toothies. Hey, Albert, have you ever brought home like the inflatable sheep or anything? You know?
No, but I do got a funny story.
Spice things up a little.
Mick, I got a funny story for you. Damien, I don't know if Mike knows about this, but Damien knows about this. Man, it's funny. And I didn't even get mad about it or nothing, because somebody that was in one of my older bands, his girlfriend found it and sent me a picture. My wife thought it was funny. And my buddy Pete, you might need Pete Laquatiere, that passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I don't know if Damien seen this. There was this thing. There was this little fucking blow-up doll. And it was like a bald guy, had the goatee. It was the funniest fucking thing ever. And it kind of resembled me.
Yes, I did see that. I remember that.
I don't remember
I'll find a picture and I'll put it up. I don't
oh my God, yes.
Yo, so she bought like 3 or 4 people these blow-up dolls that look like me. Pete had it all dressed up in the house.
Wait, did she get you one?
She got me one. I gave it away to somebody else.
Oh,
I said, here's an eBay item.
You should have kept that.
You still could get them. You still can get them. But, yeah, Mick,
I'm gonna order like 15
funny, Mick.
for you. We're gonna have them blowing up all around your house.
I got to find out what the guy is. It's like, this little guy likes the party. I'm like, and then you see on other websites, they got the guy with all different people. I'm like, look at this. I said, I don't even get no check for this motherfucking thing.
Why don't you should send your picture with it?
Yeah, dude, it's funny. Mick, I'm definitely going to put it up. I don't care. I'll poke fun myself. It's good. Good stuff. Funny, dude, I was like, I walk in Pete's house. Pete's got it up in his little studio. I'm like, really? He's got a Silent Saints t-shirt on. And
I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to see that.
You never seen anything? Oh.
No, I don't remember that.
It's fucking hilarious. I got to find it. It's yeah, I had a laugh. And the first person who sent it to me first was like, you know, you're not mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
You know? Come on, it's all good fun, you know.
There's a lot of little Alberts running around,
yeah, a lot of short, fat ball guys running around.
And we mentioned it the other week, that pirate too. So
there is that pirate from that Nickelodeon show. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
It's horrible. But Yeah, Mick. So as far as, do you have any favorite tattoo artists yourself, like Paul Booth or somebody like that you like?
Man, I mean, Paul Booth's always been an amazing cat. Bob Tyrell has always been a big, like the inspiration of mine. I mean, there are so many tattoo artists. There's a guy named Matthew James out of like Bristol, United Kingdom and shit. That's just like, this guy is like, he's a fucking alien, man. I am sure this guy is an alien. He's that good. Every time I see him post something, I'm like, that's it. I quit again. I quit again like 5 times a week. When I see some of these guys' stuff. That's funny. But yeah. There's so many great guys out there, man, that are in like the top 20% of their game. That are just animals and aliens. Then I just don't even understand how they have that talent. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
It keeps me striving to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can.
Absolutely.
So absolutely, man.
So Mick, before we move on to the music part of everything, can you give us the information of where people can get in contact with you for tattooing and all that stuff? Where they can come see you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, literally, I'm at Hydravolve Studios. Okay, I'll say that again. Hydravolve Studios. You can go to hydravolve.com and you can check out like the artists there and stuff like that. And you can get in touch with me. Most people just call my cell phone, man. 609-332-2818. I don't care when my phone number's out there. It's been my phone number for 25 years, man. Same number.
I was going to say 609.
Yeah.
You don't get too many of those anymore.
And that's how people get in contact with me. You know what I mean? I mean, it's my business card. That's it.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll put up the information for Mickey if you guys need a tattoo. We'll put up some pictures of his stuff if that's okay with him. And
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you need a tattoo, go. Oh, sure. If you need a tattoo, go visit Mickey. And now we're going to move on to some music stuff.
Fuck.
So going back, now I'm going to start going back in the day because I don't know if Mickey remembers that I remember.
Uh-oh.
One of my first bands, we used to practice at RPM Studios. And
Mundo.
Yeah, Mickey's, and we were kids. I mean, we were, if Mickey was 22 and I was 17, that was a huge gap back in the day.
Yeah.
So we always looked up to all those guys, and he was in a band I remember called Cheap Thrills, if I can remember.
Yep.
Is that the right one? Right. And
Cheap Thrills with a Z, of course.
With a Z,
of course.
The 80s.
And the thing that was awesome with them that I remember more than anything, they had cool flyers, and the flyers always had stuff like, what was the cartoon from Hanna-Barbera? I never forget. We always wait for the cartoon.
Yeah, it was the Banana Splits.
Banana Splits. That's it. The Hanna-Barbera. Banana. I can't even say habaneros. Yeah. But the Banana Splits.
Do you remember the guy who used to stand out in the guard shack out there and watch over the cars? Real long hair, beard, mustache. His name was Scott Johnson. He's a complete freak. He's a great dude, and he does all sorts of weird shit these days, like burlesque shows and all these crazy things. He used to do all those flyers. He drew all those flyers for us. He would just sit out there in the guard booth and draw our flyers for us. My van was so dirty one day that he drew like murals all over my van that were just insane.
Wow.
That dude was so talented.
Yeah, man. But and you guys pretty much were RPM's band. I think Mike and Al.
We were managed. We were managed by Mike Marquardt, and Al Powell was his partner. And I'm still very good friends with Al Powell. He came to my wedding. He just came to one of our last shows. Yeah, I mean, they're a great gang of guys, man.
Yeah, you were definitely their band.
What was the band you were in back then?
Let's hear it.
It might have been.
Let's hear it.
It might have been Steel Justice.
All right.
My favorite.
See, now I was one of the guys who worked in the little store that they had called the Wawa.
The candy store. Yeah.
I worked there. And not only did I work there, I lived behind the fucking walls for years.
Wow.
In different studios, they have lofts behind the walls.
Oh, really?
And that's where I lived for like years, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's there now?
Recording studio.
Even know
they still have studio there?
I thought it was I'm gonna say the warehouse, but I don't know what it's called now.
It was the same building, a different floor, I think.
No, so RPM Studios was 1020. The warehouse recording studio was next door to it.
Okay. Like
but inside the 1020 building, downstairs was Techcom Corporation. They did all pro audio installations. Mm-hmm. I worked there for a while as well.
Right.
Second floor was Masterworks.
That's it, Masterworks.
Okay.
Now Pete Humphreys still masters our stuff till this day.
Yeah.
He's still there, or was he still in that building?
No,
or you're not
well,
sure?
they're not in that unit anymore. But like him and his partner, now are like, they work out of their houses and different stuff like that, but he still masters our stuff to this very day. And third floor was RPM Studios. Right. On the second floor, they had like a little 8-track recording studio.
And I recorded there before, yeah.
The fourth floor was the soundstage.
Yeah. Dude, I'll never forget the time that in my first band, we got caught in the elevator with Boys to
Otis. It was the slowest elevator in the world.
Slowest elevator in the world. But Mike and Al were always super, super nice to us. And I always tell the story because you had to definitely know the guy that did one of, and like I said, we stunk back then. But the guy that did one of our first things was Stroker. You got to know Stroker. Stoker, that's it. Stoker. Jesus Christ. Stoker. Yeah. Who was in Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah,
right?
He played in Dexy's for a while. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Stoker did some of our stuff back then.
Nice. Yeah. See,
his wife back then was in General Hospital.
Really? I didn't know that.
She was an actress in General Hospital for a while.
Dude, it was great because he had the accent, so we weren't used to all that. So we were like, "Oh, make him say something. Make him say something." So hear him talk, But that's
dude, funny.
That's how far back me and Mickey go. And like I said, he might not even realize I was a kid. I knew of him, but he didn't know of me. But so years go on, and now Mickey plays with a band that's somebody that I'm friends with. I'm friends with Frank Stevens, who's an excellent bass player, and they're in a band called Monkey Finger. Now I'm in a different band at this point. And that was a fucking great band. Mickey, I think you still played bass, but you sang also Monkey Finger, right?
I did not play bass. That's when I actually started singing.
Frank played bass. Frank played bass. That's right.
Frank Stevens played the bass. Yeah. He's a monster.
That's a great name.
Frank's a monster. Monkey Finger is awesome.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that name.
Dude, and they were
that's when grunge kind of came, was getting big, and we had to because back in Cheap Thrills, man, we were some hot bitches. I was the hottest bitch in that band.
Dude, you used to smoke a cigarette and sing backup vocals at the same time. I totally remember that.
But we were like slam glam back then, man. I was like, I could show you a picture from 1988. It was the picture that RPM had on their wall.
Mm-hmm. I know what it is, yeah.
That's funny.
And Mike, somebody breaking into your house? What's going on, man?
No, your dog just took a spill, Bert.
She's brain dead, that fucking dog.
Come here.
Mike's actually upstairs from me. He's up. I'm down my basement. He's upstairs in my other room.
Studios.
Yeah. So Monkey Finger, and we played many shows with them, even at the Middle East and stuff like that. And
I remember that was a bad show for me.
The cool thing about Monkey Finger was they had the grungy thing going on, but they had a punk element, and it was Mickey's voice really that had that punk, which you'll hear even in his new stuff. Still has a little bit of that punk kind of, I'd say a little spit in your voice, which is cool, Nice, a little punk element. And they used to do, if I get this right, they used to do One Way or Another from Blondie.
Yep.
Great. So I totally remember, dude.
Yeah, man.
So we always thought them guys were awesome. We always had a good time. Love the fucking name. Love Frank. Frank's an excellent bass player. I still talk to Frank. I don't know if you have talked.
Me too, man. We went and had pancakes not too long ago.
Awesome. He's such a good dude, ain't he?
Yeah.
He's such a good guy, man. An awesome fucking player. So moving on, been out of the loop for a little bit. A couple years
took a hiatus for about 18 years, man.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm moving on, and my other buddy who played in many bands with me, Steve Tabilio, says, hey, have you heard Mickey Rat's new stuff? I'm like, no, Mickey's got something. He's like, yeah, man, go on the computer. I went on the computer. I looked it up. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is pretty freaking good.
It's not what I would expect it to sound like.
Yeah. It's got a nice commercial vibe.
It's just hard rock.
Hard rock.
It's straight up hard rock.
It's classic
I
rock
call it
with
like
a splash
arena
of
rock.
Yeah.
It's just arena rock, man.
But you still got that splash of your punkiness is in there somewhere. I still hear it.
Yeah. There's an edge to it. There's something that feels new about it. And it's not like what everybody's trying to do out there, I like Monte Carlo in the same sense for that,
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah. So when I was talking to Steve's like, Steve's very particular, he's very he can analyze anything. It's just the way his brain works. And he's like, dude, Mickey's stuff, man. He knows how to write a song. He said his stuff's really good. Check it out. I was like, cool. I check it out. And when I first checked it out, it pretty much was almost in the position that we were in, where you were kind of doing your own thing for yourself. And then you brought the band in after you kind of got a nice.
I had to do it that way.
That's the way to do it sometimes, man.
Well, see, here's the issue. Yeah. And here's the issue. I've been out of the game for 18 years, right? Now I come back and I'm like, hey, I want to write some stuff and I want to get a band together. And I had a vision with the name and everything that I wanted to do and the mission of the band and what I wanted to write about, and what I wanted the whole field to be. And so I started going around to all the usual suspects, you know, like all the guys from the past, the good guitar players, the good drummers, the good, you know, like bass players, all the people. And, you know, I'm 53 years old. So most of those people are 53 years old too. And they're like, man, I got soccer practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different.
You know, or I'm in a tribute band right now and I'm playing 6 times a week, or, you know, like so on and so forth. So there was very slim pickings, you know, and everybody asked me, they're like, well, what do you sound like? And I'm like, it's rock. And they're like, yeah, but do you have something I can hear to see if I'm interested in it? So I said, no, I don't. So I went home and I played all the instruments myself. The drums I did on like Superior Drummer, but I wrote the beats myself. I didn't just use loops.
Right.
That was the only thing that I had to use computer wise. But I played keyboards, bass, guitars, even guitar leads, and I suck at guitar leads. And but what I came up with for those couple songs were pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then I started, you know, shopping that stuff out to artists, you know, other bandmates and stuff, and people started, you know, saying, yeah, that actually sounds cool. I'd like to be, you know, involved in that. And it progressed, you know, from that point into what it is now. Yeah.
Well, dude, how could they? I mean, you know how to write a song. You know,
well, I appreciate
you know.
Yeah.
Well, if you have you know, if you're starting something new and you have like a vision in your head, sometimes if you collaborate with other people, it kind of goes somewhere else, and then
yes, true.
Eventually, you might just get disappointed and say, "Well, this isn't really turned out to be something that I really didn't envision." You know, so you know, and then what you're going to do is just going to start your own thing anyway. So I think the way you did it and how we did it is probably like the way to grow. Probably for guys our age that have been around and done it for a while, we're kind of like not set in our ways, but we know what we want. We know what works. You know, I mean, from here on out, we're pretty much open to collaborate with everyone else.
But the core, that's how it works with us too. Yeah.
Like
that's how it worked with us too.
Everybody could come in. They could, as long as it sounds good and stays what we got. You could play your own thing. You can change it up a little bit as long as the core's there. You know, and same thing, which, like I said, maybe the same thing with you guys with writing for as we become ghosts on the future stuff. It's like, okay, I got the guys in now. Now we could branch out a little bit since we kind of know what we're going for now. Right. You know, and it's right to go a little left, a little right.
Yeah. You know? And here's the thing: when it came to that, right? So like the guitar player was the hardest thing to find, right? Because I wanted somebody who just played extremely tasty licks. You know what I mean? Extremely tasty leads. You know, like little songs within the song themselves that just sing all on their own. Hooks, I'm not interested in somebody who can play 1,000 notes in a guitar solo. That just does nothing for me sometimes, unless it's, you know, there's certain guys that can do that I'm just like, wow, you know. But I held out on guitar players for a long time. I had, and I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to bum anybody out, and they're all still my friends, but I had some real top players coming and they were just not right for what I was looking for. Yeah. And it's funny because this goes into both of our conversations, tattooing and music, right? So I'm in my shop one day and this guy walks in, Alex Sid, who's now the guitar player in my band. And I said, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, my buddy, he referred me to you for a tattoo. And I'm like, what do you want? He's like, I'm like looking for skulls and roses, all black and gray, all up and down my arm. And I'm like, fuck, you came to the right place, guy. That's my shit, you know? Yeah. And I said, is there anything else on your arm that we have to work around or that you need covered up? He goes, I don't need it covered up. And he goes like this, and he rolls up his sleeve, and from his elbow to his shoulder, it's Randy Rhoads playing a flying B.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, Randy Rhoads? I'm like, so you're a guitar player, or you just really like Randy Rhoads? And he goes, no, I play guitar. I said, how old are you? I said, 25. I said, Randy Rhoads is your dude? I said, who else you like? He goes, I've been listening to a lot of Mick Mars solos lately. And I'm like, dude, I need to play you a song or two. I'm going to tell you, to this very day, very, very little of his tattoo is even finished, by the way. But he's been in the band ever since. He went home, wrote a lead to one of my songs, sent it to me. And now, like, you know, about a month later, we're over at my apartment, and I wanted to work out a couple more of the songs that I had, you know, to show him some parts and things like that. And he starts like this, like, cool, like lick. And I'm like, what's that? You know, just as I'm tuning up. And he goes, I don't know, I was just goofing around with it last night. And I said, screw that song. We're working on yours tonight. And we've collaborated ever since. When you get the right people, when you finally find the guys that are in your tribe, you know, that you're able to open up, just like you guys were talking about, and allow them, as long as it's still in the wheelhouse and it still sounds like As We Become Ghosts, you know, everybody has their say and everybody has their feel to bring into the band, you know, and we finally have those 4 members.
You know, checking out some of your Spotify stuff, you got like 4 tunes up right now.
We have another 2 that aren't released that are already in the can. We're going to go record another 2 starting on the 29th of this month, and then we're going to put out an EP at that point.
Nice. Well, I know you got Firefly, you got Overcome, you got Trapped in the Echoes, and what I'm going to call the money song, at least for me, the money song is The Run.
A lot of people like The Run.
That's the money song. You know, for me, they're all good. Yeah. The Run's the money song. The lyrics are good. The melody's good. The hook's good. The change right before the solo is pretty fucking awesome. Nice. So it's I took a pretty good listen to the stuff, and I dig it. I like the vocals. I like everything. I like the way the storytelling of the Run song is really good. The lyric video is really good. You guys can check that on YouTube. As We Become Ghosts, The Run, you'll see the lyric video. Check that out. It's worth checking out. And thanks. Sure, man. Do you have any gigs coming up or anything?
We do. We were actually supposed to be this weekend, opening up for like Everclear and Lit and Sister Salvation, or Sister Hazel rather, down in North Carolina at Wampus Cat Fest.
But they got canceled, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it got postponed until August at this point.
Gotcha.
They're supposed still right now. We just looked at the weather down there, and it's supposed to be like 80% chance of like thunderstorms. It's going to be happening on a farm.
Who else was supposed to play it? Was Rat Rod supposed to play it?
Rat Rod was coming down. A lot of bands from this area. Soulshine Entertainment, Leanne McMay.
Okay,
was bringing a lot of bands from here, and she's in charge of the independent stage down there for him.
Oh, nice.
She's also in charge of the independent stage over at Spyglass Winery. That's going to be happening in August, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 19th, 20th, and 21st, I believe. And we're slated to be playing that as well.
That'll be cool.
And we have next gig we have coming up is July 9th, opening up for Tantric. Awesome. And at Union Firehouse in Mount Holly.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
Yep.
We're going a different route, man. You know, like we're not playing a lot of shows. We're being very reserved and very quiet and mysterious and working behind the scenes. And we're only playing like limited shows because like the scene's not like it used to be, man. 25 years ago, you could like play the Galaxy and Bonnie's and Empire Rock Club and all those places, and there would be a built-in crowd, right? There would be 100, 150 people there on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just because they want to come out and see music. That's before the internet and all this kind of crap, right? Now, when you can order McDonald's at 2:00 in the morning in your underwear and like not even talk to a person, have the shit delivered, and you get a notification, try to get people to come out and participate.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard.
You know, you got social media, multiple events going on all the time, blah, blah, blah. We want to promote one show at a time. That's it. Right. And we want to put all of our eggs in that basket. We don't want to give somebody an opportunity to see us a week before that at some other place. Or we want to come out, and every time they see us, we want to have a new song or two. We want to rearrange the set. We want to have something new and exciting for them to see. Now, somebody comes out and supports that show for us, right? We're not going to be saying, "Hey, man, can you come out and support us next week?" And in Philadelphia or Delaware, they can't. They got lives, right? But if I can get them to come out 4 times a year, 5 times a year, they can commit to that.
Yep.
And we'll give them something different every time. So that's the kind of what we're doing. And also, as far as promoting, we're doing a lot of street teaming stuff. So like, let's say we have a show at Artie's Bar and Grill, right? And we're opening up for Tantric there. Let's just say, just as something, right? They have all these other shows going on, Puddle of Mud, other bands like that, right? So we go there and we set up the van, we throw the banner over it, we put up, a little, one of our powered speakers, we play our music, we have QR codes, and while people are walking by, we're like, take shot, you like Shine Down, you like Puddle of Mud, check us out. All you got to do is just hit your phone to this QR code, man. You can go listen to it later.
That's pretty cool.
We're playing here on the 9th, and we could get more actual views and people really listening to our stuff than you can by doing some ad campaign and having a bunch of bots giving you views. Right.
You have to, you have to go out and do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here's one more. And that's the old school stuff where it's face to face. Right. Here's another great idea. go while Shinedown and Godsmack are playing at the BBC Center or whatever it's called these days. Just park your vehicle, pay $50 for parking, do the exact things that I just said. And everybody that walks by drinking, having a good time, say, yo, you like Shinedown? You're going to love As We Become Ghosts. Just click this. And by the next day, you'll have 100, 200 people that have went to your thing and liked your Spotify or signed up for it or whatever, because you gave it to them. You gave it to them easy. Just here you go. Click this QR code. Boom. And they walk away. And the next day they're like, oh yeah, that thing. Let me go check that out. You know,
dude, I love
it. It's that old listens and views.
It's that old guerrilla street thing, which is like, it's missing today. It really is. We were talking 2 weeks ago about going to shows and just flying every,
making flyers,
everything. Yeah. That was the old, you don't see that anymore. So stuff like that is awesome because you're already in the environment of people that kind of dig the same music that you're playing.
Yeah, exactly. You know? That's who you're trying to key on. Yeah.
Like back in the day, you would go to, now it'd probably be a lot easier if people actually liked it. Actually, I did do this when Cinderella played here years ago. We were giving out CDs, and of course, they told us that we couldn't give out the CDs because you couldn't bring them inside because people would throw them to people. But
right.
But that was the move. Like, if you remember, even when big bands played, if there was an opener that wasn't that big yet, the record companies would give cassette singles. As you was leaving, they were giving cassette singles out.
Right.
Marketing, it's different. Yeah, sample. It's just a different way of marketing. And dude, I love that idea. And it takes balls because people don't have the balls to do stuff like that. So I love the idea of guys just going out there and saying, fuck, here it is, check it out.
That's what the world is missing right now, right? We have social media, but we don't have social circles like we used to have, right? Yep. So it's about being personal and personable and talking to people face on face and engaging. Like that's how you do it. So to play this tantric show, we needed a certain amount of tickets that we needed to guarantee that we could sell to be on the bill, of course. So that's kind of how that works, right? Yeah. So we've surpassed that with just our first post. And what happens is, instead of just putting out an event thing, right? I take every once a week to once every week and a half, because we got plenty of time to the show. I go on a little bender of taking and copying and pasting the event thing itself, right? The link to buy the tickets that will show that the ticket was bought for As We Become Ghosts. And I go through my whole friends list and I target 20 people. And I start talking to them personally and send them the events, and they talk back to me. And then most, at least 8 to 10 of them are like, dude, just bought 4 tickets. Hey man, that's cool. I just got a ticket. Thanks, man. Right. And I'm being personal. I'm going back and forth with them, telling we could really use their support on this, and so on and so forth. And again, once that show's done, we're not going to bother them for a couple of months. We're not going to be like knocking at their door and like, can you come out and see us next week?
Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. We feel the same way, where we don't need to play out a billion. If we could play 6 to 8 important shows a year, that's better than us playing 35 shows,
Right. I would much rather do that. Yeah. I'd rather play 4 shows a year that are quality.
Us too. That's exactly where we're at.
Because there's a lot of things you can do in between, man. You can be recording, you can be writing, you can be promoting, you can be like
keep
trying to get
stuff
to every radio station and internet radio station in the freaking world, like making contacts, going to promote that next show, street teaming at those places, you know what I mean? Reaching the people that that this person came to Artie's Bar and Grill to see Puddle of Mud. So that they can make it to that facility, and they're there to see that kind of music. That's who you need to target. Hey, we're going to be playing here too. Can you come back? Just give us a listen and make up your mind, So, that'll do way more than any event page you throw it on Facebook.
Most of the problem, and I'm sure we're all guilty of it at one time, is what we do, you post something, you put it out there, and you hope people see it, and it's just floating in the cloud or whatever it's doing. It's
in the ether with the other million events.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
problem with it.
And you don't know how the algorithms work, who sees it, who don't see it. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So you don't even know if anybody is seeing this stuff. It's just, you throw it out there and you think you're promoting because you're throwing it out there, but there might be 5 people that looking at it. You never know.
Correct. And that's exactly what I feel. That's why we're taking this sort of approach to our promoting and how we're getting people.
I like the idea. It's in your face, old school, check it out kind of stuff. I like it. I like it a lot, man. Man, so you guys got about 4 tunes right now on Spotify. You're going to release a couple more in a couple months, probably an EP to follow. And so you guys can find As We Become Ghost on Spotify. I'm sure iTunes, all the platforms. I'm sure you can find all the stuff on there. Mick, would you like to add anything else?
No, man. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's a real honor.
Man.
It's cool.
Thank
like,
you.
Good having you.
We go way back, you and me, Albert, and I don't really, but it's like you guys run in a different circle than I do. You know what I mean? Even musically, you guys, run in a different circle, it seems, than the circle that we've been running in. And it shows just how big the industry is and all that other stuff. But it's funny, I've been trying to branch out a little bit more and like get involved with other people's circles. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's like it's very cool that I have this opportunity.
Dude.
To come on, and see Damien and you and Mike.
Dude, like you're a staple in our area for musicians. You're one of the staple guys. You've been around for a good amount of time. We all kind of know each other loosely, if not anything. We all know of each other, Yeah. But like I said, me and you go way back. Like I said, I was a kid and I remember all this stuff. Like I was riffing off to you. It's like, so you definitely, I enjoyed watching you play up there because I still listen to you, And dude, it's all good. So you can find As We Become Ghosts on Facebook. I know you guys got a Facebook page you can visit.
Yeah.
And is there any other website or anything like that, or is that the main?
We do have an As We Become Ghost website.
Okay. Yeah. Is it .com or?
Yeah, .com.
Okay, so aswebecomeghost.com. Facebook, if you guys are on there, come visit Mickey Rat and As We Become Ghost, and check out the stuff. You will love the stuff. Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes. We'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Peace.